Hey there, honey bunnies. Welcome to episode 93 of the Sovereign Storytellers podcast with your host, Michelle Wolf. I ran out of air. With your host, Michelle Wolf. Note to self, breathe. No one wants to buy your shit. I'll have to put something else in the title, of course. But this question's coming up a lot lately. I'm seeing it places, and a couple of people have asked directly what to do or why they put their stuff out and no one buys it, or, why do they have to explain the why? It was a great question in my free Facebook group, Practical Human Design, which you can find and join if you want. You got to answer the questions, y'all. If you click join the group, you're going to get asked some questions. If you don't answer the questions, your thing is going to be declined. Practical Human Design for Success. You can find that on Facebook. So this question was asked this morning, and because it's come up 2 or 3 other times in the last week or so, I thought, well, let's just make a podcast episode. Couple of recommendations. Story Brand by Donald Miller. Any Book by Bernadette Jiwa, Jiwa. Probably mispronouncing that, but Jiwa. What else? There was another one. Oh, No One Wants to Read Your Shit by Stephen Pressfield is for writers, but it's applicable to this situation as well. Because here's the thing. Writers fall in love with their words. This happens to all writers. You write some stuff and you think it is the great American novel, and you fall in love with your own words. You read your stuff and sometimes you read your stuff and you're like, this is garbage and no one's ever going to read my stuff and I'm an idiot and all that. But a lot of times you're like, this is the most amazing writing ever. I'm in love with my name, my title, my content. I'm in love with it. And then other people read it and they're like, yeah, we don't know what you're talking about. Which sucks, by the way. So as a poet, another side note, you can find all my books on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Do not buy the one On the Road to Kingman, because that is a shyster publication company and they no longer have the rights to that book. Thank goodness, but there are still copies out there. If you want a copy of that, let me know. So as a poet, a lot of poets go through a big learning process of, we're writing about things that are so personal. But when you're reading someone's personal stuff, it generally doesn't resonate as well as when you're reading something that's written to a group of people. Writing about yourself is less interesting than writing about themes of humanity. So Shakespeare is still around and has been done and how many times have those plays been turned into movies and stage productions over and over and over? And the story themes get rewritten in different formats. But the reason those things stand the test of time is because they address the human condition. Everyone thinks no one suffers like they do. Everybody thinks that. Everybody thinks they don't belong. Everybody feels like they're a weirdo. Everybody feels like somebody else has got what they want and they're never going to get it. And human themes like the person who deliberately undermines and sabotages and destroys things, and the person who has a noble calling but can't get it right. I'm not telling you that you have to go read Shakespeare. I know that's not everybody's bag. But if you do, you'll see the reason those stories last is because they speak to all of us. They speak to those vulnerable places that we don't share with very many people. That's why poetry is still here. Because good poetry, and I'm not saying that all of mine is good, but some of it is. But it speaks to those themes. The hero's journey is the same story in every story. Every movie you watch follows a predictable course, generally speaking, unless you watch Inception, which is still it's still the hero's journey. I was going to say maybe Memento, but it also has hero's journey. So educating yourself about story helps you understand why you can't just put your product out there because you know it's good and expect other people to know it's good. They don't know you. They don't know it's good. And they're not going to hand over their credit card unless you help them understand that this can help you and here's how and here's why this will benefit you, right? So that can be hard. It can be a hard part of the process of being an entrepreneur who creates content out of thin air, out of their life experiences, out of their knowledge base, out of their inspiration and the connections to the divine and nudges from your guides and all that stuff. And well, first of all, you need to follow your strategy and authority and ask if this is a product you should be creating or if this idea actually belongs to someone else. So there's that. But if all signs point to yes, create this content, that's a magical thing, right? And you know it intimately because you birthed it through your body. You received information and your hands wrote some things and you made some things and you know it inside and out. And it's super exciting because you know how it can benefit people and you know that it solves a problem. But we act like little kids, right? We think that just because we know it, everybody knows it. So this is like a little developmental stage where we can get stuck if you don't become a writer or an artist that's required to show other people what's inside your head. Little kids think that mom knows what they're thinking. Because moms can see that you have brownie crumbs on your face, so they know that you were in the brownie pan. But a little kid doesn't make that connection. They're like, oh, mom's psychic. She knows I was in the brownie pan. How did she know? Because there's crumbs on your face, dummy. So we know our stuff. We know it's good, it's magical, it's wonderful. We're in love with it. But the rest of the world doesn't live inside your head. The rest of the world can't just magically understand that what you're offering is a tool or a gem or something that really is going to make a difference in their world. We're assuming that your product has been tested and that you've done some beta testing so that you know that, yeah, if people apply it, they actually can get results. So let's hope that you've done that. So if you start from the place that no one wants to buy your shit, it helps you go through the process of, okay, how can I show them, tell them, express to them, demonstrate to them why they should buy it? It's not that your stuff is shit. It's not that at all. It's not that you are defective. It's not that the magical thing that just came through you is a dud. It's not that. It's that you have to go through this uncomfortable process of taking what's inside your head and your heart and showing it to people through words. And that's hard. That's why copywriters are so expensive. And if you can afford a copywriter and you don't want to go through this can be grueling process of figuring out how to transform what you see in your mind and what you know in your heart into words that other people can connect to. If you don't want to go through that process, there's no problem with that. I think everybody should have to go through that process because it makes you a much better communicator and it helps you understand the motivations of human beings. And when you understand the themes of humanity, your work really gets a whole lot deeper and better, and people really feel seen by you because you are really seeing them in a different way. And I'm not queen of the universe, so I can't make everybody go through that process. So if you want to hire a copywriter, invest in a really good one. Like, make that part of your business budget and hire someone. I don't know if Megan Walrod is taking copywriting clients right now, but I really have learned a lot from her, and she's very good at what she does. Megan, MEGANWALROD.com. Megan is an excellent copywriter. Hire someone to help you show people why, or gather up the resources, go through the process of stepping into your clients. So when you're a person who can boil a lot of information down to a one-line sentence, this process can be extra painful. But I became a better poet when I had a good enough friend who was saying, I know you, so I get it. But people who don't know you, how are they going to understand what you mean by this phrase or this imagery? So I had to learn to, okay, if someone didn't know me, how would I speak to the pain that all human beings experience at some point? How do I speak to the melancholy? How do I show the connections between loneliness and the movement of the stars? Like, how do you make those connections? And those books can help you start to get a thing of that. But you can also sit in meditation and connect energetically to your ideal client, to the person that you just get so excited when you see their name on your pop up on your so-and-so just made an appointment. And you're like, fuck yeah! I can't wait to work with her, him, her. I don't know why. I haven't worked with men in a long time, but you just see that person's name and you can't wait. Like, you just are so looking forward to the appointment because you know it's going to be dynamic and awesome and y'all are going to get some shit done. You have to be speaking to that client. Why did she book an appointment? Why is he wanting to even talk to you? What is the pain that is driving that person to pay you money to help them on their journey? If you can't speak to that, you can't sell. And your stuff is needed, so you've got to learn how to do that. Or hire someone. Entrepreneurship and building a business and creating a product and selling it is this huge package of processes within processes. So you have a product and you want to sell it because you want your work in the world and you want to buy groceries and take your cat to the vet or whatever. Like there's all these things. But we're there's this mystery around it, and a lot of misrepresentation around what that process looks like on a day-to-day basis and how hard it is and how painful it can be, which is why when you're on that path, it's going to be rough at times, and it's not for everyone. I think people, especially now, are like, well, I'll just package this thing up and I'll put it on Kajabi or, Teachable, and I'll sell it, and that's what's sold out there. Well, if you make a product and you put it here and you make a sales funnel, and then you'll be a millionaire, and you too can drive a Lambo. Well, it's not how it works, especially if you're coming from the heart. It's a much different journey, and it's harder. And so first of all, ask yourself if this is a path you really want to be on. Because it is greatly rewarding and also greatly exhausting and painful, and it requires you to grow. It requires you to really step into your ideal client's world and feel what they're feeling, and then ask yourself, open yourself to the magic of life and ask to be shown the words, to find the phrasing. You can study other people's pages. You can find people who actually are successful and how are they doing it, and you can sort of then find like, well, how would that work for me? What are my personal stories? What are my personal experiences that I can use to demonstrate? So you start to think like a poet. How do I use metaphor and story and rhythm and imagery to connect to my ideal client who's up at night because she can't stop overeating, or she's up at night, or she's frantically going from coach to coach to coach trying to find someone who'll tell her what to do, or she is got a product and she's too scared to even tell people about it. Like that's the personal growth and the professional growth. So ask yourself, do you really want to do that? Is that really a path you want to go down? And if the answer to that is yes, then ask yourself, is this the product I should be starting with? Is this an idea I should be developing? Is this mine, or is this something I picked up from the neighbor or the last webinar I watched? If you have a lot of open space, white space in your human design chart, you're open to picking up stuff that's not actually meant for you to pursue. So this happens a lot. It's happened to me multiple times. I get a full download of a course. You wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, the angels are singing and the light's shining down on you, and you're like, I've got the best course ever. And you get up and you nail it down and you write it all, and you're like, yes, this is my ticket to an apartment in Paris. And you put it out there and it hits the ground like a tub of shit. And you're like, what happened? Why? Well, it's because you didn't ask if that beautiful download of a product was meant for you, or if the timing was right. If you're one of the people that tends to be ahead of the game, you might be trying to put out a product that the world's not ready for another year or 2 years or 5 years. So asking those questions will save you a lot of heartache and a lot of, burying your feelings in a pint of Ben and Jerry's. Non-dairy, of course. Okay, so there's that. Do you want to do this entrepreneur thing anyway? Is this product idea you have yours? Is it the right time to invest time and energy into it? These are like pre-questions to be asking. Are you willing to go into the land of discomfort while you figure out how to write copy, how to use stories, how to introduce imagery that evokes emotion in the people reading it. All copywriters are storytellers at the heart of it. You're telling a story. StoryBrand breaks that down very clearly. I love that book. And you can get on Donald Miller's, email list. Email list and get a great, really great free content too. I recommend you get the book. And I recommend you find at least 5 people who are doing what you want to do that you feel connected to and watch how they're doing stuff. So here's an example. Today, before I made this podcast, before I saw this question and realized I'd heard this question now 3 times in the last week of how can I get people to buy my stuff? Why I'm putting my stuff out there, I'm showing up, I'm doing the thing, but nobody's buying. What the fuck? Basically. I wrote a big long Facebook post. Okay, and in that Facebook post, and you can go look at it and use it as an example, I talk about the shampoo aisle at the grocery store. Now, on the surface, you would be like, why would I talk about the shampoo aisle to sell my product? So what I'm selling in that post is a Human Design Foundation's coaching session, not a reading, not a recorded thing that I send you, an interactive, let's get on Zoom, figure out your human design and how to apply it in your life. So that's what I'm selling. If you can't figure out your career, if you're trying to find your life purpose, because that's another theme I keep seeing lately, which has to do with all of a sudden, the rug's been pulled out from under people. We don't know what the hell to do. Things that we were doing are going away. We know that there's big change coming. So people struggling to now figure out, like, I'm in a career and I hate it, or my job just went away and I don't know what to do now, or I'm supposed to have a life purpose, but I don't know what that means. So that's what I'm selling, right? The answer to that struggle. I want a mission in life. I want to wake up in the morning and have something that has meaning to me, but I don't know what that is, and it's driving me crazy. Okay, that's the pain point. That's what the client is struggling with. She wants to do something. She has something to give the world, but goddamn if she can figure out how to do it. She just can't. It's frustrating. It's painful. It makes her question if she has anything inside of her that has value to other people. And of course she does, right? But she can't figure it out. And human design is an excellent way to figure that shit out. What does that have to do with the freaking shampoo aisle? We all know, my ideal client's going to know what it feels like to stand in front of a bunch of products and get so overwhelmed. Because the kind of people I work with can see all the things, and they're interested in all the things. They're multi-potentialites. They're multi-passionate. They know a lot about a lot. So they have trouble picking one bottle of shampoo. Because that's what I'm like. I have trouble. Now, human beings have trouble when they have too many choices. But seriously, the shampoo aisle, it can shut me down. Now, I don't go there anymore because my daughter's a hairdresser, so I'm not allowed to buy cheap shampoo. Or was a hairdresser. She's a teacher now. But it would shut me down, right? There's Garnier, there's Pantene, there's Wella, there's the one with the kangaroo on it, there's the green bottles and the purple bottles and the sparkly, There were times when I was under stress in other parts of my life that I suffered such bad decision fatigue that I literally just had to close my eyes and pick a bottle of shampoo and hope that I got one that worked for me. I was so overwhelmed. We know that feeling. My ideal client knows that feeling and the pressure to pick the right one. So we're using shampoo to talk about career. We're using that sense of pressure. You've got to pick the right one, and you can only pick one. You can't buy 10 bottles of shampoo. That's crazy talk. What kind of madness would that be if you just picked one? No, you've got to buy the right one. And you can only buy one. Okay, that's what we're fed. We're delivered that message from the time we're 5 and people start asking, what do you want to do when you grow up? And at 5, we're not with it enough to go, I'm fucking 5. I want to go eat a bug. That's my plan for the day. I don't know what I want to do when I'm 20. That's 15 years from now. Right? So we use shampoo to talk about career. Maybe you're a person who goes on the shampoo aisle and you know exactly the kind of product you want. Maybe you've talked to some people. Maybe you've tried out 10 bottles, 10 brands, and you know. So you just go right to the product, you pick it up, you put it in your baggie, and you're off to buy some lettuce. No problem. But if you're the person who feels the pressure to only pick one, and you haven't tried a bunch of stuff yet, you're going to be stuck in the shampoo aisle. So do you see how that works? You're talking about shampoo because most people can relate to that, the struggle to get the one right shampoo. And as a coach, it's my job to say, pick a green bottle because you like the color green. That's all you have to do. There isn't, what you've been taught is incorrect. It's not true anymore that we pick one career and stay with it. You are not a loser if you go to school and get a computer science degree and then figure out you actually want to be a chef. That's not wrong. You're not bad because you're paying student loans on a degree that you're not going to use. There's nothing wrong with that. It's my job to say, take your buggy and your budget and go buy 5 different kinds of shampoo. It doesn't matter. Buy the green bottle, the white bottle, the pink bottle, the purple bottle. Take them all home. Try them all out. And the ones you don't use, you can donate or, throw away or recycle the plastic bottle, please. But you know what I mean? Like we get caught up in somebody told me it has to be like this, and now I'm paralyzed in the shampoo aisle because I want to do the right thing. I don't want to get in trouble. I want to be correct, and I don't know which bottle of shampoo to buy. I'm afraid of making a mistake because I've been taught that making mistakes is bad. You see? That's human condition. We're taught that making mistakes is bad. Bad. You're a bad goat if you make a mistake. But that's not true. That's conditioning. We made mistakes as kids and we experienced pain. We got in trouble. We got punished. We are conditioned then that mistakes equals pain, so don't make them. Avoid mistakes at all costs because mistakes equal pain, shame, whatever degree that you experienced abuse when you made a mistake. Okay? So if you have a person who's been strongly conditioned to never make a mistake, can you see how choosing a career could be very, very hard? Can you see how even choosing a bottle of shampoo could be very, very hard? Because on the surface, you're like, it shouldn't be that hard to choose a damn bottle of shampoo. You're just washing your mop. But when there's a fear and mistake underneath that, it shows up everywhere. It shows up everywhere that a decision has to be made. That's the human condition. Everybody can relate to that. So think about the times that it's happened. Where did you get caught up in decision paralysis, analysis paralysis? Where have you experienced that? If that's what your product is about. If your product is about losing weight, why are you doing that? Why are you teaching on losing weight? What's your struggles with food been? If your product is to help people make more money, why would you even be interested in that? If you think about why you're doing what you're doing, it can help you explain. If you're willing to be vulnerable and share your own struggles, it can help people say, oh yeah, that's me too. If you're selling a product about money because it's a way you have learned how to make money in your own life, then you want to share your story in global terms. You just talking about you, people are generally not super interested in that in the beginning. They will be. There is time to tell your story, but you get people to listen to you by talking to them. It's not about you. It can't be, come buy my stuff. Hey, come listen to me talk about this. Hey, come look at my process. Hey, come listen to my process. That's the part where people are like, people don't give a shit about that. They don't know you. You haven't engaged their curiosity. Yes, what you're sharing is valuable. It will help them. But that's not where you start. So I was talking to someone about this last week, and it was like, we're trying to run a business based on how we connect socially. But it doesn't work like that. We connect socially by somebody tells you their story, you listen, you share your story, you guys connect, and then you know that's how relationships form. I tell you a little bit about me, you tell me a little bit about you, we see if we have some common ground, and we go forward little bit by little bit. But that's not business. In friendship, you don't have to hook people. You don't have to hook people in. You don't have to have words that express to others who you are and what you are about and what you're offering the world. So you can't run a business like you would run a social relationship. It's a business relationship. It's different, and it ain't about you. It has to start with being about them. So if you're selling products just to pay the bills, it doesn't work. Unless you have a good copywriter that can address some other human conditions. I'm guessing if you're listening to this, you're not selling a product just because you need to make money. You might need to make money, but there's some heart engagement there as well. It's making sense. We're talking about shampoo, but we're actually talking about career choice. And we're actually at a deep level. I'm actually at a deep level trying to get it across to you that it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Pick a damn career and go. Pick a bottle of shampoo and go. Try it out. If you don't like it, don't do it. Go on to the next one. There's nothing wrong with that. Your cultural conditioning, your family training that says there's something wrong with that is a lie. It is not true. It is a falsehood. The truth is, you can have 10 careers if you want. The truth is, you can go get a computer science degree, come out of college and go, you know what? I'm pretty good at making salads. I really love putting together food. I think I'm going to do that instead. There's nothing wrong with that. Everything that you learned in your computer science college experience will somehow serve you. you can pull from that into this new career. And then a lot of people will go 10, 15 years or shorter, 2, 3 years. I have about a 4-year maximum before I have to switch things up. You get in a career and you'll think erroneously that, this is it. I got my career. I'm doing my life purpose. I'm happy. I'm making money. Done. Nope. You are constantly changing and growing. Life is having its way with you. You have relationships. You have experiences. And at some point you are likely, more likely than not, to shift careers at some point and do something completely different. Or to take what you've been doing and transform it and do something that's kind of the same but not. It's going to happen. So you've been conditioned to think of it in a certain way, and I have to find metaphors and stories and images that get your attention and show you that this is like that. That's where poetry helps. Storytelling helps. This story is about a person who does some things and has some struggles, but it's deep at a deeper level. It's about a person who's experiencing life and how they handle it and how the interactions of life and the divine and our souls and our hearts and other people all come together in these patterns. Macro, micro. You have a macro idea, you have a big picture product, but you have to bring it down to the micro level, the personal level, talking to that one person who's experiencing the pain that you're solving. We like to be direct and say, this is fun, it will make you feel good, buy it. Cool. But it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. But see, we would do that socially, right? In our social relationships, we would say, hey, I bought this Pantene shampoo and it's super awesome. Go check it out. Go buy it. And our friend will be like, okay, I've been looking for a new shampoo. And then just go buy it, right? That's why relationship matters, and that's why social proof matters. But it doesn't, social relationships and business relationships are not the same. So just telling your friend to buy your product isn't good enough. Because if they're not your friend, they don't know you, they don't trust you. They don't have any reason to look deeper and ask themselves, is this for me? Will this address this restlessness? Will this solve this thing I keep struggling with over and over and over again? Or will it solve a piece of it so that I can then take the next step? Right? No one wants to buy your damn shit. Not because it's shit, but because they don't know why they should. It doesn't make sense to them. And if it doesn't make sense, people are not going to spend their money on it. These are hard lessons to learn. But here's what I want you to know. It's normal to go through this process. I wish that messaging was more clear. That if you're going to go down the entrepreneur road, there is some suffering involved, there's some discomfort involved, and you will also experience rewarding, deeply satisfying moments, but you can't just have the paycheck and the deeply satisfying moments without the suffering and the discomfort that it takes to get there. I wish it could be otherwise, but it's not. It's just not. It's just not. Okay, Seth Godin's another guy you could read if you wanted to. I highly encourage you to look at people that you resonate with and how they're doing it. Why did you buy their shit? What attracted you to them? That's really a really good way. That's really a really good way to figure out what your why should be, what your process should be. Why did you like them? Why did you give them your sweet moolah for the product that they developed and put out in the world? How come? And then you have to be able to step outside yourself and think, okay, well, what is my person looking for? What can I share? And how the mechanics, so there's the heart of it and the mechanics of it. Certain things need to go in certain places. You need to engage people at a global human condition level, have them read some of your stuff, and then talk about your story, or give them the option to go read about your story. I forget which one of my pages it is. It might be Animal Avatar, thatmichellewolf.com/animal avatar. One of those has a clickable link. If you want to know my story, my struggles with this, click here. If you don't care about my story, that's fine. If you just want to buy the product, that's fine. But if you want backstory, if you want how this came to be, click here. And I wrote the whole thing up on a separate page. If you're a person who just knows without knowing how you know that you're going to buy something and you just go to the web page to click the PayPal button, then this process of turning that around can be a little harder, because you just know what you want to buy it. You don't know how you know. You don't really care about the backstory or the price point. You know you want it, so you go buy it. But that's not everyone. That's actually not as common as you would think. Most people want to know why. They want to know some details. They want to be educated before they hand over their sweet, sweet moolah in exchange for the gift that you're offering to the world, okay? So you have to be a little bit objective. You have to understand that criticism is going to happen, that you're going to have to edit. Man, editing sucks. When you're a writer, editing blows. Finding out that you think you've been very clear and people are going to love your writing and they read it and go, huh? Man, that hurts. That is a gut punch. You have to be able to take that and go, well, shit. All right, let me back up. Let me step outside myself. Let me quit being so egocentric and ethnocentric. I'm writing from personal perspective. How do I write from global human theme perspective? Okay. So it requires us to move into abstract thought, which is harder. It requires a greater level of empathy and seeing the world through some other person's eyes and asking a lot of questions. I wonder why she does that. Why do humans do this? Why do humans do that? What's driving them? What's the motivation? Why would they even want to fix this? That's the problem with narcissists, right? They're not fixable because they don't see a problem, right? There's no problem. You have the problem. They don't have a problem. They're fine. They're wrecking the world and everything around them, but they don't see it that way. So you can't get them into therapy. And even when you force them into therapy, it doesn't work because they don't believe they have a problem. You are the one that has the problem, as they're happy to tell you, right? Humans don't do anything without a reason. All behavior has a reason. Figure out that reason, and you've hit the gold mine. You'll be able to write to that person directly once you figure out why they're paralyzed in the shampoo aisle, why they can't just pick a job and go do it and see what happens. Why? Okay? So you can go look at that post if you want. Today is August 20th. So you can go scroll my Facebook page, facebook.com/ is it just Michelle Wolf 11? No. Is that my business page? No. Michelle Wolf 11. It's on my personal page. Go check out those books. Go read some people that you like, that you've bought from. Ask yourself why you bought from them. What did they say, do, that made you know, like, and trust them enough to spend money? Step back from yourself. Soothe your hurt feelings if you have them, because that happens. And get more objective. Go visit your website as if you're not you. What's the first thing that you notice? What's the first thing that makes you feel a little funky? What's the first thing that makes you want to read more? If you can't be objective, ask somebody, preferably somebody who doesn't know you very well, so that they'll tell you the truth about it and not give you a courtesy chuckle or a courtesy yes, it's fine. Find that friend of yours that everybody thinks is a bitch because she's like, yeah, that sucks. Like, she's a straight shooter. She won't tell you that it's good when it's not. And then always coming back to your type, strategy, and authority. How did you come up with this idea? Did it come from someone else? Is this your product to develop? And is this the right time to develop it? A lot of you manifesting generators get these amazing downloads, but you're ahead of the curve and it's not the right time. It's going to be the right time 6 months from now, but it's not the right time today. So follow your type, strategy, and authority and go do some of this other stuff and see if that helps. Hopefully this has been useful to you. If you want to get started on your human design, thatmichellewolf.com/human design. Y'all know where to find me. I'm freaking everywhere. In this case, you do need to think, but you also need to feel. So bounce around. Think, but then feel. Think less, feel more. I'll talk to you next time.